In the early 19th century, Italy was not a single country. It was a collection of separate states, many under the control of foreign powers. The Austrian Empire dominated the north, while the Spanish Bourbon dynasty ruled the south. Amidst this fractured landscape, a powerful desire for freedom and unity began to grow. From this desire emerged one of history's most fascinating secret societies, the Carbonari. Their name, meaning charcoal burners, evoked the image of men working deep in the forests, hidden from plain sight. This secrecy was essential to their survival and their mission. They were a hidden network, a revolutionary brotherhood dedicated to liberating Italy from foreign masters. The Carbonari operated in the shadows, a world away from the palaces of kings and emperors. They were a clandestine force, united by oaths and rituals. Their members were drawn from all walks of life, from poor peasants to wealthy nobles, all sharing a common dream of a free and united Italy. In an era of strict government control and spies, open dissent was impossible. Political opposition had to go underground. The Carbonari provided the structure for this resistance. They created a space where revolutionary ideas could be discussed and plans could be made, all under a strict code of silence. Their existence was a direct challenge to the established order. Their influence spread quickly across the Italian peninsula. The society became a symbol of hope for those who yearned for a liberal constitution and national independence. To be a Carbonaro was to commit to a dangerous cause. Members risked imprisonment, exile, or even death if their identities were discovered by the authorities. Yet thousands were willing to take that risk. They believed that the sacrifice was necessary to build a new Italy, one governed by its own people and for its own people. The Carbonari were more than just conspirators. They were the early pioneers of the Italian national movement, laying the groundwork for the struggles to come. The story of the Carbonari is a crucial chapter in the larger narrative of the Risorgimento, the long and difficult process of Italian unification. While they did not achieve their ultimate goals themselves, their efforts ignited a revolutionary spirit that could not be extinguished. They demonstrated that organized resistance was possible, even against the most powerful empires in Europe. They created a tradition of patriotic conspiracy that would inspire future generations of revolutionaries. Understanding the Carbonari is essential to understanding how the idea of Italy was transformed from a geographical expression, as one Austrian statesman called it, into a modern nation-state. Their hidden struggle was the first flicker of a fire that would eventually engulf the entire peninsula. The Carbonari first emerged in the Kingdom of Naples around the year 1800. Their exact origins are shrouded in mystery, which was intentional. The society borrowed its traditions and symbolism from the trade of charcoal burners. These were men who worked in the remote forests, turning wood into charcoal. Their work kept them isolated, making them a perfect model for a secret organization. The society's rituals were based on the charcoal burning process. The clearing of the forest represented the liberation of Italy from tyranny. The furnace symbolized the place where revolutionary plans were forged. This rich symbolism helped to create a strong sense of identity and shared purpose among its members. Secrecy was the cornerstone of the Carbonari's organization. To protect themselves from spies, they were organized into small independent cells known as vendite or cells. Members of one cell rarely knew the identities of those in another. This structure ensured that if one cell was compromised, the entire network would not collapse. Communication between vendite was done through secret signs, handshakes, and passwords. This complex system of secrecy was designed to protect the movement and its members. It also added to the mystique of the society, making membership feel exclusive and profound. Brotherhood and loyalty were the highest virtues. Initiation into the Carbonari was a serious and dramatic affair. New members were often blindfolded and led to a secret meeting place. There they would undergo a ritual that tested their courage and commitment. They swore a solemn oath of loyalty to the society and its goals, promising to keep its secrets on pain of death. The rituals involved symbolic objects, such as axes to clear the forest of wolves, tyrants, and ladders to climb to heaven, liberty. These ceremonies were designed to bind the new member emotionally and psychologically to the cause. They reinforced the idea that joining the Carbonari was a life-altering commitment to the struggle for freedom. The society's membership was remarkably diverse. It was not limited to a single social class. Intellectuals, students, and soldiers were among the first to join. bringing with them liberal ideas and military experience. They were joined by merchants, artisans, and even some members of the clergy who were sympathetic to the cause of Italian nationalism. Even nobles who opposed the absolute power of the monarchs found a home in the Carbonari. This broad base of support made the society a powerful force. It showed that the desire for a new Italy transcended class divisions, uniting people from different backgrounds in a shared revolutionary dream. The main goals of the Carbonari were clear and ambitious. First and foremost, they sought the unification of the Italian peninsula into a single, independent nation. They wanted to end the centuries of division and foreign domination that had weakened Italy. Their second major aim was to establish a liberal government. They fought for a constitution that would guarantee basic rights and limit the absolute power of monarchs. They believed in a government that was accountable to the people, not one based on hereditary privilege. Finally, they were dedicated to expelling all foreign rulers from Italian soil, especially the Austrians in the north and the Bourbons in the south. The Carbonari put their ideals into action during the wave of revolutions that swept across Europe in the 1820s. In 1820, they played a central role in an uprising in the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies. Led by Carbonari members in the army, the revolutionaries successfully forced King Ferdinand I to grant a constitution. For a brief period, it seemed as though their goals were within reach. A similar revolt erupted in the northern kingdom of Piedmont in 1821, also led by Carbonari sympathizers. These uprisings demonstrated the society's strength and its ability to mobilize significant numbers of people. They sent a shockwave through the conservative monarchies of Europe. Despite these initial successes, the revolutions were ultimately crushed. The great powers of Europe, particularly Austria, were determined to maintain the old order. The Austrian army marched into Naples and Piedmont, restoring the absolute monarchs to power. The constitutional governments were dismantled, and a brutal crackdown on the Carbonari and other revolutionaries began. Many members were arrested, executed, or forced into exile. The failures of 1820 and 1821 were a devastating blow to the society. They revealed that passion and conspiracy alone were not enough to defeat the might of the Austrian Empire. The revolutionaries lacked coordination and widespread popular support. The Carbonari were not defeated entirely. They went underground again, and their revolutionary spirit continued to smolder. A decade later, they were involved in another series of uprisings in 1830 and 1831. This time in the central Italian states of Modena, Parma, and the Papal States. Once again, the rebellions showed early promise, but were eventually suppressed by Austrian forces. These repeated failures exposed the weaknesses in the Carbonari's strategy. Their reliance on small-scale conspiracies and military coups was not enough to achieve a national revolution. The movement needed a new approach, one that could mobilize the broader Italian population. The era of the Carbonari was coming to an end, but their actions had lit the fuse for what was to come. The repeated failures of the uprisings in the 1820s and 1830s led to the gradual decline of the Carbonari. The constant pressure from government spies and the harsh punishments inflicted on captured members took a heavy toll. The society's strict secrecy, once a strength, also became a weakness. It made it difficult to coordinate large-scale actions and build a truly national movement. Many began to question the effectiveness of its conspiratorial methods. The lack of a clear, unified political program also created internal divisions. Some members favored a constitutional monarchy, while others dreamed of a republic. These internal disagreements weakened the society from within. A new generation of Italian patriots emerged, learning from the Carbonari's mistakes. The most important of these figures was Giuseppe Mazzini. He had been a member of the Carbonari in his youth, but grew disillusioned with its secrecy and lack of a clear vision. In 1831, he founded a new movement called Young Italy. Mazzini believed that revolution had to be a popular movement, not just a conspiracy of a select few. He focused on public education and propaganda, spreading the idea of a united Republican Italy to a wider audience. Young Italy was more open and had a clearer political goal, and it soon replaced the Carbonari as the leading force of the Italian revolutionary movement. Despite their ultimate decline, the Carbonari left a profound and lasting legacy. They were the first large-scale, organized patriotic movement in modern Italian history. They kept the flame of Italian nationalism alive during a period of intense repression. They created a generation of dedicated revolutionaries who gained valuable experience in the arts of conspiracy and rebellion. Many of the future leaders of the Risorgimento, including Mazzini and Giuseppe Garibaldi, had their political beginnings in or were influenced by the Carbonari. The society served as a crucial training ground for the men who would later go on to build the Italian nation. In conclusion, the Carbonari were an essential bridge between the old world of secret societies and the new world of modern nationalist movements. While their own revolutions failed, their impact was immense. They planted the seeds of unity and liberty in the minds of thousands of Italians. They demonstrated that the seemingly unshakable power of foreign empires and absolute monarchs could be challenged. The embers of the Carbonari's fires provided the warmth that nurtured the growth of the Risorgimento. The united Italy that emerged in the second half of the 19th century owed a significant debt to these brave, secretive charcoal burners who dared to dream of a nation in the darkness.